Good morning. So here is my next recommendation for you. This is actually a collection of classic ghost stories, so lots of nice short stories that you can just dip in and out of. They won't take more than 20 minutes, half an hour to read at a time. Year 7, this is fine for you. Year 8, brilliant, because it's got some Dickens in here. So if you wanted to extend your knowledge of Dickens and the Romantics and all those kinds of things, there's some lovely themes and images that run through these books. And year 9 and year 10, if you are thinking about next year in Jekyll and Hyde, then this is great preparation, because a lot of this Victorian literature just takes a little bit of getting used to. So I'm going to read you a extract from The Red Room, which is one of my favourites in here. This is by H.G. Wells, and look him up. You might find out some really interesting things. He's written some good novels as well. So this is an extract from The Red Room. "I can assure you," said I, "it will take a very tangible ghost to frighten me." And as I stood up before the fire, my hand had a glass in it. "It's your own choosing," said the man with the withered arm, and glanced at me. 28 years, said I have lived, and never a ghost have I seen yet." The old woman stared hard into the fire, her pale eyes wide open. "Aye," she broke in, "at 28 years you have lived, and never seen the likes of this house, I reckon. There's a many thing to see when one's still but 28. She swayed her head slowly from side to side. "And many things to see and sorrow for." I half suspected the old people were trying to enhance the spiritual terrors of the house by their droning insistence. I put down my empty glass on the table and looked about the room, and caught a glimpse of myself, abbreviated and broadened to an impossible sturdiness in the strange old mirror at the end of the room. "Well," I said, "if I see anything tonight, I shall be so much the wiser, for I come to the business with an open mind." "It's your own choosing," said the man with the withered arm once more. I heard the sound of a stick and a shambling step on the flags in the passage outside, and the door creaked on its hinges as a second old man entered, more wrinkled, more aged than the first. He supported himself by a single crutch. His eyes were covered by a shade, and his lower lip, half averted, hung pale and pink from his decaying yellow teeth. He made straight for an armchair on the opposite side of the table, sat down clumsily, and began to cough. The man with the withered arm gave this newcomer a short glance of positive dislike. The old woman took no notice of his arrival, but remained with her eyes fixed steadily on the fire. "I said, it's your own choosing," said the man with the withered arm, when the coughing had ceased for a while. "It is my own choosing," I answered. The man with the shade became aware of my presence for the first time, and threw his head back for a moment and sideways to see me. I caught a momentary glimpse of his eyes, small and bright and inflamed. Then he began to cough and splutter again. "Why don't you drink?" said the man with the withered arm, pushing the beer towards him. The man with the shade poured out a glassful with a shaky arm that splashed half as much again on the deal table. A monstrous shadow of him crouched on the wall and mocked his actions as he poured and drank. I must confess I scarce expected these grotesque custodians. There is to my mind something inhuman in senility, something crouching and atavistic. The human qualities seem to drop from old people day by day. The three of them made me feel uncomfortable with their silence, their bent carriage, their evident unfriendliness to me and to one another. "If you show me this haunted room of yours, I'll make myself comfortable there. The old man with the cough jerked his head back so suddenly that it startled me and shot another glance of his red eyes at me from under the shade. But no one answered me. I waited a minute, glancing from one to the other. If, I said a little louder, if you will show me to this haunted room of yours, I will relieve you from the task of entertaining me. There's a candle on the slab outside the door, said the man with the withered arm, looking at my feet as he addressed me. But if you go into the red room tonight, this night of all nights, said the old woman, you go alone. Very well, I answered. Which way do I go? You go along the passage until you come to a door, and through that is a spiral staircase, and halfway there is a landing and another door covered with baize. Go through that, down a long corridor to the end, and the red room is on your left, up the steps. Have I got that right? I said, and I repeated his directions. Are you really going? Said the man with the shade, looking at me again for the third time, with the queer, unnatural tilting of the face. This night of all nights, said the old woman. It's what I came for, I said, and moved towards the door. And as I did so, the old man rose and staggered round the table, and so as to be closer to the others and the fire. At the door, I turned and looked at them, and saw they were all close together, dark against the firelight, and staring at me over their shoulders with an intent expression on their ancient faces. Good night, I said, setting the door open. It's your own choosing, said the man with the withered